Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The reason I'm keeping on singing is I'm just trying to see if I can find if we have Bibby's audio coming through. I believe we do. Good morning, Bib. What are you laughing at? You? Whoa! I've lost your audio. No, we've lost Bib. There he's back. What did you say? I can hear you now. What were you saying? Wow, I think we've just kind of like had the bit dropping out because Bibby keeps turning into like C3PO or R2D2, should I say. Number one pirate, thank you very much for the host. Thank you very much, and also big love to Luke, who I saw dropped his 7-month subscription 19 hours ago. I mean, it was during Joseph's Death Stranding stream, but more on Death Stranding in a very, very short while. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and this man right here in a box is the Bibberino. Lovely wave, Bib. Lovely wave.
Apparently I'm so quiet.
Why is he so quiet? That's just what Bibby's always like. Oh, 1 second then.
I'm known for being very quiet.
Say something, Bib.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I can hear Bibby. You can hear, as in, is he stupidly loud now?
Any gains.
There we
Also, you have zoomed in on his face as well.
go. There we go. Is that better? Is that better? We didn't. Also, you zoomed out on his face as well? No, that was because he was sat in the toilet when we did the stream the other day. I've actually moved things around because originally. Okay, let's do some editing on the fly. Let's move things around. Apologies to everyone.
I mean, I can turn my gain up. Oh, it said it. There you go. It's annoying because obviously they're like 30 seconds behind us, so we're waiting. We go, "Are you all right?" And then they'll be answering the question beforehand.
And they'll go, "Yeah, of course, mate."
No, too loud. But yes, welcome everybody. This is the Scoop. Oh, okay. I seem to be going up and down on the screen.
Yeah, editing on the fly. Yeah.
Oh, look at this! I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, almost, not quite. I've got to do it again. Not quite done it. It's slightly off on my screen, and I just can't be having that.
We look after the people who are listening live.
Yeah. Discord video. There we go. Pop. And then that one down a touch. There we go.
It is freezing in the studio today.
Is it really? It's ridiculously warm here.
Freezing.
It's like stupidly warm. Yeah. I had a hoodie on this morning. I'd take it off straight away because this home studio setup there's a little radiator there which just kind of blasts out heat, and then you've got the PC, the 3 monitors, the key lights, and it's like sat in a sauna. So yeah, enjoy the cold there with your hoodie and stuff there, babe. Nice.
I'm thinking of running back to the car and getting my gloves.
Anyway, before you do that, let me jump into the introduction. I was a little bit distracted because I thought I'd have a little bit of a boogie woogie as we start the stream. But my name is Graham Dan. As I've mentioned, this guy in the box right here is Bibberino. We bring you the scoop each and every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. So you might have heard that, Ice Cream and the Scoop. Oh, you see, we did it on purpose. The Scoop is our little bit of a take on the games industry and beyond news. Everything that's happened within the last 24 or so hours, we bring you our thoughts. If you're watching live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, feel free to get involved in the chat. We want to hear your thoughts, want to hear your impressions on our thoughts and impressions. And yeah, well, you're the only people that get to do that because we put this as a video podcast on YouTube a little bit later on in the day. The guys watching YouTube don't have a chance to share their voice within the video itself. You guys do, so you can speak the words that they might want to speak. And then we put this on our 4 podcast services a little bit later on in the day too. Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. We have 4 different audio options for you to get us right in your luggles. That's Yorkshire for ears, by the way. Just let you know. So yes, get involved. Twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. We are live now in the chat. Plans for today, babe?
Well, obviously we've got a little bit of work to do this morning. Dinner times today. Those of you that, well, obviously you won't know because we haven't talked about it yesterday afternoon. Luke has brought in Guitar Hero.
See,
so we're going to be playing that over dinner.
This is the reason why I was asking plans for today.
Okay.
Because I knew that you'd got Guitar Hero. Josie isn't going to be streaming today. I'm calling for the first ever rehearsal live on Twitter. I mean, it's not going to happen, but I'm sure the chat.
I mean, I'd be open to doing it. That really doesn't bother me at all. I make a twat of myself every single time the microphone and camera goes on. So doing it again is absolutely no bother to me.
Okay, let us know in the chat. Do you want to watch the first ever Guitar Hero session from the Ice Cream Studio? Let us know. I mean, we're not guaranteeing it will happen. Just let us know. It'd be good to hear impressions. Good morning, says Dad and Lad Gaming. Good morning. Good morning. Was that a bit loud then? Good morning. I apologise if it was.
I've moved the mic closer to my face, so hopefully it'll be a bit clearer.
Oh, I've now kind of... There we go. Screwed my mic up. There we go. Now, Dan, I thought you just wanted to hear my impressions. At the moment, my voice is fucked, so I could do a good Phil Mitchell. Grant. Phil Whitepat. Lovely. Baby's selfieing right live on stream. The thing is, like, we can clip that as well. If someone can clip that, because Bibby will post that on social media, you can post a clip of Bibby doing the selfie. We can have like self-inception. So clip that.
You've got a poster, haven't you?
Go to Twitter.
We are live.
Go to @We'veGotBabinho, and you can get involved by sharing that clip with the man Dem right there.
With the man Dem.
Which version of Guitar Hero is it? Pass. Thoughts, Bibby?
Guitar Hero Live.
There you go.
It's the worst one that they've had. Because I don't like the controller. I'm actually really good. Like, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I have put so many hours into playing Guitar Hero, it's unbelievable. I am actually really good playing it, but not with this new one. Because the buttons are all laid out weird. They're like top and tail. So there's 3 rows of 2 top and tailing, whereas used to be 5 colours down the line, like a little train track. But yeah, it's not the best. The song selection's good. I like the song selections, however, I just can't get used to the controller. It's really difficult.
I remember being at EGX 20 maybe 2017, and we were on the PlayStation stand, and they had a Guitar Hero game then. I can't remember. Maybe it was Guitar Hero Live, and they had, I don't know if it was a Fall Out Boy song.
Yeah, it is. It's oh god, it's the one that they've released about 2 years ago.
What, in 2017? I can't imagine that.
No, I can't remember what it's called. It was a massive song as well. It like leaked into the Fallout Boy. Fallout Boy. Like, oh my god. This is
well, I'm just going to sit here and smile at the camera for those on video podcast services while we try to find out.
My song's What You Know What You Did in the Dark. That's it.
That is the one. That is the one. Yeah. Well, one of the guys playing it through my ears, trying to find the song. But yeah. One of the guys who worked on the PlayStation stand was playing this, and he was playing Guitar Hero all weekend. And obviously, when you go to an event like that, you get people that know how to work the crowd. Like you sort of MCs that G everyone up for. I mean, some kids are just going to be playing, I don't know, not Smash Brothers because it was a PlayStation stand, maybe a Metal Gear or a FIFA or a PES or whatever was on the stand that day. Anyway, these guys they were really good through all that, but you could tell stereotyping, beards, like headband, sweatband thing, long hair. You knew that they were there because they can fucking smash it on Guitar Hero.
But yeah, it's the thing is with games like that, unless you are a rhythm gamer, it's stupid to watch. It just looks dumb. Like it took me so long to even get half good at playing them games because you have to constantly look at the colours. You have to know where your fingers are, and for I'd probably say 12 months, I couldn't use my little pinky to get down to the orange button, which is at the very far end of the guitar. So I could only use the 4 frets. So if I was playing on hard or whatever it is, I could never use the orange one. I had to move my hand completely, but I don't. Now I don't have to.
It's alright, babe. Don't fret. I need to mute my Slack because I'm getting noises.
I'm just trying to post a picture of myself to say that we're live, but I've kind of butchered this.
Well, Pirate's already taken a hashtag make a selfie clip and posted it in the chat. But yes, it was Fallout by My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark. That light 'em up, up, up. Anyway, these guys, these Rockers guys, were kind of they were good at like G'ing up the crowd, but like when that came on, it was literally like, oh, we're at EGX in the NEC, which was never really packed compared to like if you got it at the Earl's Court or at the XL Arena. Like the NEC was quite quiet in respect to other events. Anyway, so EGX, quite quiet. You've gone through Thursday, Friday. We're there on Saturday, and this guy's like, "Light 'em up, up, up!" like smashing it out on the crowd, and it was like being fucking. You just walked into a Fall Out Boy gig. Everyone from across the whole fucking arena just came to the PlayStation stand, and it just went off. It was badass. Anyway,
it's definitely one of them type of songs though that gets everyone G'd up. It was one of the few songs I think that crossed over from like the indie rock kind of thing into the actual mainstream. So everyone kind of knew that song, but yes, it's a good track.
It's not bad. But yeah, let's get into the news, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if I can tweak my camera around because I keep hiding behind bib in the box. Just a bib in a box. Yes, we have, I believe, 5 pieces of news that we want to jump over. I said pieces. Some of them are quite meaty, and you might have seen from our tweets that we put out on twitter.com/ice cream uploads that we are going to start with the obvious story of the day, and I'll bring it up on screen for you now. This is nice bit of product placement there for War Thunder. Nice. It's all right. We've got you guys. We've got you. This is from PC Gamer, written by Andy Chalk 13 hours ago. It says Death Stranding and Control lead the Game Awards 2019 nominations. Not really any surprises there, to be fair. But jump into the news. The Game Awards is an annual Jeff Keighley-produced event during which the video game industry and many of its fans get together to watch trailers, snack about sponsorships, and yes, hand out a few trophies in various best of categories. 107 different games were nominated in those categories for the 2019 show, led by Death Stranding with 8 and Control with 7. The nominations were picked by a jury of 80 media and influencer outlets, PC Gamer included. After the nomination phase, he says, winners are selected via a fan vote, which is open now. Given Keighley's friendship with Hideo Kojima and a cameo in Death Stranding, we can guess which game he's pulling for. Other big games this year include Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, with 5 nominations, and Resident Evil 2 and The Outer Worlds, which drew 4 each. The Best Performance category features 2 nominations each from Control and Death Stranding, which is interesting. Gears 5 and The Outer Worlds round out the category, and for the record, I'm all out on Matthew Peretta as Dr. Casper Darling, but I'm a little confused by the Fresh Indie Game presented by Subway Award, which stands separate from the Best Independent Game category. The Game Awards website says that the Fresh by Subway category is for new indie studios that released their first game in 2019, put out a Wild studio, Mobius 38, has 2 previous games to its credit, Beacon 38 and Terra Chrome, while Untitled Goose Game developer House put out Push Me Pull You in 2016. Dead Toast Entertainment also has nearly a dozen releases to its credit, mostly web games, which might seem a little tenuous, but that's where my friend Pedro got his start. So yeah, a little bit of a rant about validity of awards and nominations there. I mean, I don't really care that much about jumping into the validity myself personally, but might want to do that. But we have the list of the awards for 2019. The nominees for the awards for 2019. So Game of the Year nominees are Control, Death Stranding, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and The Outer Worlds. Best Game Direction, Control, Death Stranding. Do you know what? I'm not even going to run through all these.
Yeah, we'll be here forever. It's a doozy. I said this morning when we was talking about it that this easily could have been a separate show with how much there is to go in for this. We could have gone through each category. There's that much. It could easily be a 2-hour show. But yeah, it's exactly how you expect it to. There's nothing ever different with these. You have the same categories more or less every single time, and you already know when a big game's about to come out. You think this is going to be put in there. Then you get a game that people might like, but you know it's probably not going to be entered in there. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. I'm always kind of dubious with things like this because, like, Game of the Year. And to have Death Stranding, which isn't even game of the moment, really. No.
Because, obviously, I mean, if it was game of the year, probably being harsh by looking just at sales, but I'll pick it apart in a number of different levels. Looking at sales stuff, did it make it first place? It might have done, but it didn't last for long. Obviously, I mean, big releases coming just the week after in Star Wars and Pokemon, but it's fallen out of the top 3. In terms of sales, a game of the year usually undoubtedly smashes everything out of its way. But the fact that Star Wars has managed to get into second place, I'm not saying that it's a tiny title, it's definitely not an indie title or anything like that, but it wasn't really the best marketed game. It was announced at EA Play a bajillion years ago by Andrea Rene, is that how I pronounce her name? And I remember watching that show thinking, oh, this is going to be sick. First announcement of Jedi Fallen Order, and then we kind of had a tepid marketing campaign. But so Star Wars not being on its absolute front foot, just kind of, you think Death Stranding should absolutely smash it there, but it's been hit with is it for me? What kind of thing is it? Is it a new genre? Is it old genres? And is there a need for the new genre? That sort of conversation, right? Granted, it's good conversation to have around a game, but surely all of that, for me, being thrown into it, it's almost Game of the Year because of the who's and the what's and the where's and the why's kind of thing. It's like, oh, because it was made by Kojima, and because it was pushed heavily by Sony, and because Guerrilla's engine's in it, and because Graham plugging PUBG with his mug. What? With my face? It's alright, I'm going to get my PUBG hat down in a second as I sip from my mug in the room. But yeah, I mean, it kind of, like, yeah, all of that, the Kojima, the Sony, the Guerrilla, the Jeff Keighley being in the game, and it featuring prominently at Game Awards. I mean, not saying that there was any bias from Jeff Keighley, because no doubt everyone else would have been covering it. It's one of those games that's gonna be everywhere, but does it deserve Game of the Year, or is it just there because of who it is and what it is, not because of
I think it's everything that went around it. It was lip service, really, wasn't it? You know what you're getting from a Kojima game to a degree. You also know what he's worked on previously, so that's why it's anticipated. You know it's going to be a bit fucked. You know it's going to be a story nonetheless, whether or not it makes sense or not. But yeah, I don't think it should have probably been there. I think Jedi Fallen Order had probably a better chance. I think we had this discussion yesterday in terms of how many Pokemon fans there are and how many Star Wars fans there are. And it says a lot when you've got the two Pokemon games that came out, first and third, and then Jedi in the middle, that is sitting in second.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Speaking of Jedi as well, interesting to notice that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order doesn't rank anywhere in this list, but I believe that is something to do with timelines. So even though the voting for Star Wars for the Game Awards, I believe, cuts off on the 15th of November, which would be Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order's release date, and Pokemon Sword and Shield's release date, technically they would be within that year, but the nominations for these were due by the start of the month, so I think that's
So dumb.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything cuts off, but yeah. I mean, how can you, as a journalist with any level of integrity, vote for a game that you haven't played in its entirety? I mean, that's like saying, imagine that. So the 8th, when Death Stranding came out, imagine having to vote if that's going to be your Game of the Year 2 weeks before that. 2 weeks before Death Stranding's launch, we were like, what the fuck is this game? I don't know.
I don't want to say it's like an unfair advantage as well, because that when you're coming to vote, it's a game that you just probably haven't finished playing, completed, or you are currently playing, so it's fresh in your mind. Whereas you got Resident Evil that came out mid-February. I mean, for me, absolutely no, but Resident Evil is Game of the Year. I don't care what anybody says. Even if I was to play all of the games that are in the list, Resident Evil 2 for me, wait for so long, blah blah blah, everything around it, Game of the Year, no problems. But that was way back in February. Whereas Death Stranding, if you are a massive Kojima fan, you had a week to play it, a week to finish it, or whatever. It's fresh in your mind. You are going to pick something like that, I reckon.
I think I'm sure, but I might be wrong. Someone might be able to correct me. I believe that's called recency bias, or something that implies it was more recent. But there's a bias towards that in terms of whatever's fresh in your mind. You just played a game. It was good, so therefore it's better than the one that I've played previously, unless it absolutely smashed something previously. Then if something pushes the envelope even further, then it and that was months ago, but it's still there, then it kind of has to go above and beyond to still be in the forefront of your mind, despite you playing something else that's really cool. And I think that's probably testament to Resident Evil, because if we're looking at a game from February that's in there with The Outer Worlds, which came out, was it November as well, or end of October, if not November?
Or maybe 3 weeks ago.
Control, so a few months ago, but not quite far back as February. Death Stranding, November. Bibby's shacking out on my screen, keeps flashing as if he's gone. Anyway, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, obviously that's a bit longer. And Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I don't actually know when Sekiro came out, although it does look pretty tasty.
It was 3 or 4 months ago.
But,
I remembered Next Gen Renegade, if he is in the chat, he'll probably tell you because he actually went and bought it. But that looked like a decent game. It just looked like a Dark Souls kind of game.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I'll just bring this back up on screen. Game of the Year, obviously, reminds you that the nominations are Control, Death Stranding, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and The Outer Worlds. So I think I'm gonna throw my hat into the ring. I'm not actually gonna keep my hat on. I'm not gonna throw it anywhere because you'll see my hat here. I think it's safe to say that I know what Bibby's guess would be in there. It might have loosely implied within his quotes there that he might be behind Resident Evil 2.
I'm throwing all my weight behind the boys at Capcom for that one.
See, I'm still to form my opinion there. I mean, I've said it before when it won at the Golden Joysticks, when it won Ultimate Game of the Year at Golden Joysticks last week. I said it's even before then, when the nominations were announced. Imagine a Game of the Year being given to a game that's not even a Game of the Year. Does that kind of give you a hint of what kind of year you've been having? So the best game of this year is a game that's 20 years old that's been redone again. Yeah. But then as a kind of like, I think through it in a bit more depth, I'm thinking, does that really matter? Because it's not the same game. I mean, it's the same story, but it's definitely not the same game. Like the whole atmosphere and actually having to run through that game will be different than playing it on a console that it would have been 20 years ago, and trying to recreate something that has the same gravitas as a game that it did 20 years ago, but evolves on it in 20 extra years of technology and storytelling. I think, I mean, probably a bit harsh of me to kind of judge it like that. So yeah, I'd be happy enough if Resident Evil, judging, I mean, I've not played it, I've watched Bibby shit himself. I mean, if you've watched the introduction of the show, I take the piss out of him every time we go live through the microphone. Is that the liquor? So yeah, I mean, watching him play through it and seeing him experience that, they've definitely put the effort in there, so there's definitely something there. Death Stranding, for me, I have it, once again, still haven't played it, but just going off of, I mean, in the same way that I'm ranking Resident Evil off of impressions, but just going off of impressions, I can't see Death Stranding being worthy of winning a Game of the Year title there. I mean, I'd be more inclined to see Control winning Game of the Year there, just because it was one of those things that I mean, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, didn't have as much budget. As far as I was aware, it didn't have the marketing spend. I mean, it got marketed, obviously, but not to the level of Resident Evil 2 having a pop-up store in London, not to the level of Death Stranding having Mads Mikkelsen, Norman Reedus, Lea Seydoux, Del Toro, and everyone else doing world tours and things like that over 5 years or whatever the full marketing campaign was. Definitely wasn't marketed at that level. So if we sack off everything else and we just have, let's even sack off Resident Evil for now, because this article says Death Stranding 8 nominations, Control got 7. If we just to water that down to have those two side by side for the Game of the Year, with what's been achieved, and with the amount of kind of differing opinions that I've seen on Death Stranding versus the solid opinions of Control, for me, I'd probably lean behind that. I mean, it's a bit of a shitty take when I've played neither of them, but from my perspective, as someone trying to analyse it from the outside, I can't help but feel that not only is the recency bias there, but there's probably that ad spend bias. I mean, everyone's played Death Stranding, everyone's got an opinion on Death Stranding, but just because they had to, because it generates headlines, it gets you the column inches. We're talking about it now because it does that. But Control being up there for just as many awards with a much smaller game and a much lesser budget, and from what I've seen, it looks like a game. I mean, I couldn't honestly jump behind any of these, because for me it's I mean, you see me sat here with my PUBG mug. I'm smashing my way through PUBG because I haven't found anything that resonates with me enough to take me away from it. Literally, the only game that's taken me away from PUBG, which is one of those mindless games. It's like playing multiplayer in Modern Warfare. The only game that's taken me away from playing PUBG is Overcooked. So
Yeah, and that's to play with the missus as well, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Although we have Overcooked 2 installed with all the DLC as well. So you know, wedding might be off, lads. You know, marriage might be over. But yeah.
If for me, if Resident Evil 2 didn't win it, the only other game that I did want to win it is The Outer Worlds, purely based off what's happened with Fallout 76 recently. And these New Vegas guys have gone over, they've made their own IP. They've pretty much smashed it out of the park. It's a massive success with the Fallout community, basically because of, like I mentioned before, it's the old New Vegas guys. And ideally, I don't know if I want to see it as a franchise, but I definitely want them to be able to go on and improve it or make at least another game out of it. Take the direction that they've worked on, take that further. So they've got a lot more to be able to do with it. But I think it deserves what it's got, considering the way that Bethesda has treated people with Fallout 76, with the microtransaction thing that came in, and then what's it called, the annual season pass thing, where you have to pay £108 a year to be able to have all your scraps.
Is it called private worlds or whatever?
Yeah, the private worlds thing. Yeah. So the love and attention that's gone out into the Outer Worlds, I definitely think that'll be second on my list. But Resident Evil, for me personally, being the man of the franchise, 100% game of the year.
Yeah. Just scrolling down through, I think there's definitely the recency bias as well as the spend bias as well, which kind of ties into what Fatman Dave 8572, which is my brother, in the chat says Death Stranding seems to have been sold on creator rather than content, which kind of, for me, that gets down into the best performance category. I'll bring this on screen. So this is people within the game, actors. So you've got Ashley Birch as Pavati Holcomb from The Outer Worlds, Courtney Hope as Jessie Faden from Control, Laura Bailey as Kate Diaz from Gears 5, Mads Mikkelsen as Cliff from Death Stranding, Matthew Peretta as Dr. Casper Darling from Control, Norman Reedus as Sam Porter Bridges from Death Stranding. Once again, not played these games, so I can't say from my own first-hand experience, but my experience in seeing other people's thoughts, I've seen Mads Mikkelsen, as you'd expect, because he's a class actor. His character Cliff apparently is really good. The way that that's shit is really good. Like his portrayal of it. He's really good. The gravitas that he brings to the role, and like when he's on screen, he captures your attention. This is my take from seeing other people's input. But Norman Reedus, he doesn't do that much. You're kind of looking at the back of him. This is the take I've got. Once again, if you've played it, correct me if I'm wrong. You see a lot of him from the back, and obviously he's in the cutscenes, but he doesn't actually contribute that much. His performance is quite minimal. It's everyone around him, and that's as you kind of get in a video game world. You want to be playing a part, not necessarily spectating a part, although this is kind of stepping into the realms of movie where you do just spectate. But because of that, Norman Reedus, his character, it almost feels like it's just been put in there because he is the main character and it's Norman Reedus, so it kind of should be given a place. But if you have differing opinions, please feel free to let us know on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads in the chat, and we'll take it on board. One final thing that I do want to look at, though, is yay! eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020 from PES Production/Konami has been nominated in the category for Best Sports/Racing Game. Seeing as we do have a lot of input into sports/racing games, and full disclosure, before we go on and say any more, we have worked with Konami and PES for many, many years, which is why we obviously highlighted that. So, yeah, Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled, Dirt Rally 2.0, eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020, F1 2019, or FIFA 20. Booby? Who would you put your eggs behind? Which basket are your eggs going in?
It's gonna be FIFA, I think. Crash Team Racing, that's an interesting one. They bundled that one in there. I think that had a very strong sales figures out the gate with Crash Team Racing. Whether or not it was enough, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see how many people are still playing that game for me to be able to have a comment on it. There was 110% people still playing FIFA, Pro Evolution, F1 2019, and there's definitely the communities out there that are still playing that game. But I do think in terms of a solid player base and people still playing the game, figures. I started thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm having a shocker this morning. But yeah, I think it's going to be FIFA.
Excuse me. The looking at the games, it's interesting to see. I mean, I was kind of doing a little bit of a scouting round, and it's kind of part and parcel with a yearly release, particularly a sports/racing game, which is a recreational simulation sort of experience. And so the thing with a sim is you know what it's like to do it in the real world. I know what it's like to play football, so therefore I can be a judge on football. Whereas Death Stranding, unless you're a Deliveroo driver in a post-apocalyptic world kind of thing, then you can't really say what it's like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see. Like, I mean, FIFA's audience have turned on EA quite drastically. I mean, obviously there's all the stuff with Kurt and the esports side of things that we've seen. But I was watching people saying when you get a good server, FIFA 20 can be crisp. This is people who play it all the time. I don't play it enough, and I'm not good enough to even know the difference between a good server and a bad server because I get absolutely trashed. But people that do play it day in, day out are almost... I mean, FIFA 19, if you're embedded in the FIFA community, was a very poor game. Overall, it was a success, and no doubt a huge success for a year, probably bypassing every other FIFA before it financially. But from a community standpoint, the game wasn't very good. I mean, it's getting to the point where people are going, oh, do you know what? Give me FIFA 19 over FIFA 20 any day. And then it's like, the fact that it's getting to that point lets you know that FIFA 20 needs to improve. But it's funny to see that, like, you can see the people that aren't just, like, knee-jerk reaction people going, what the fuck? You want to play FIFA 19? We were happy to get rid of that shit.
So, there's people that are saying the same thing for Pro Evo, though. People are saying that you can go back and play 19 because there's not just coin-only agents. You can spin them with GP and things like that. So
absolutely.
It's definitely in both camps. But at the moment, I am 110% in the... I think I keep on saying that 100%. I'm definitely in the FIFA camp purely because of the people that I'm playing with at the moment. There's my good friend Mike, who most of you would have, if you watched any of my streams when I play FIFA, he's the one that's usually right beside me. We played in a competition on Monday and he came second. He's through to the next round, which should be being played today. So whether or not I'm able to get home quick enough for him to get into the Discord or him to get home quick enough himself to be able to play in it, we'll see. But I'm definitely playing in a FIFA tournament tomorrow, which will be live on this channel from about 6:15 tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I have had mixed opinions with FIFA 20. I really like Volta. But that's because I like an easily accessible
ding, ding.
story mode. Ding, 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 ding. Clubs,
not finished.
Clubs, I kind of liked, but
you had a greedy bastard up front, Wayne. If you're watching this, you fucking greedy shit.
No,
sorry, Nan, if you're listening.
As I mentioned to Babe, it's the thing with clubs is when you shit, like this guy right here. It's too easy to bypass someone. In a game of football, if you've got someone that's shit on the pitch, you can't really play around them, or you just kind of. But I kept finding people in my position and stuff like that. So for me, clubs, whilst it's really good, it's such a learning curve for someone that's shit that you can easily just cut someone out of the game, which is kind of what happened with me.
The thing is with clubs, unless you played it for years and years and years, and you know how the game plays, and you played with the same people, it is an absolute slog. It's not easy, especially when you're starting with a pro that's rated like 79 or 80. So you came in as a right midfielder, and I'm playing as a left winger. You got Wayne up front alongside Mike, and then Willis sat behind them. Them three played together and have done since FIFA 11. I've dropped in and out. I've played 150 games a year maybe with them, whereas they're playing 700, 800 games a year. So they just do the little triangle between them.
Still doesn't invalidate the point, though. The point is that it's easy enough for that to happen. It's like if you play with someone that's on your team and you can just go, oh, do you know what, actually we could just play with 3 people, then what is the point in clubs, which is the 11v11 bit? And that's the bit that kind of I find is a little bit of an oxymoron, because there was 5 of us playing, but then it was kind of almost 2 of us. There was like 2, then 1, and then 2 again. It was kind of like these 2 play lots, that one kind of gets involved a bit, and then the 2 on the wings that were kind of interchangeable. But that's not necessarily a problem with clubs. That's a problem with the gameplay kind of thing. In terms of we spoke about it quite a few times. Mike kept saying there's no point even crossing the ball on FIFA 20 because but once again, it's not necessarily the problem with clubs; it's the problem with the gameplay engineering around clubs. But
I'm still yet to score a corner or a header on that game. Even playing 1v1 is impossible. It's like, was it last year on PES where it was just pointless?
Unless near post, nut it back. There you go. That's how you go.
Yeah. And was it 2016 where every single time you put a ball into the box, it was like Kolarov smashing it 99 power, and it just floated. It just shot across the box, and every header went in. And was it Traore? Everyone was putting up front because he was so tall and so strong. He just scored every single header. There's always metas in that game, and it's shit because it ruins the experience, especially when every single striker. If you look at the top 500 players in pro clubs, they're all strikers and they're all 5'3". They're all way next to nothing. It's all about speed, getting the ball.
Senator still having therapy for him, says Precision. Pro clubs is the best football game mode ever, no contest. Yeah, the thing is, I was playing devil's advocate and hitting the other side of the coin where Bibbs was saying it was good. I'm obviously focusing on the negatives, but on the first time that I played it, during all those negatives, who stayed up till 4 a.m. playing it so well? Is it really that?
That was a good session, that though. It was a good session. I mean, I think we played that for like 9 hours. It was a good session.
It's not bad. Speaking about good sessions, we've had a good session on the Game Awards. So let's move forward. Let's move things forward now.
Well, 1 minute. Just before we go, Content Creator of the Year. Have you had a look at it? Who's up for it?
I did see Shroud's name in there. Is that what you're waiting for?
Yes. For me, it's either him or Courage, but they're the two guys that I watch more than Dr. Lupo, Ewok, and I don't even know how to say his name. Gref. Grefg.
Graphica.
Graphica. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. So,
I've never watched Ewok. I don't know who Graphica is, so I would go with one of the others. I do kind of. I mean, my backing Lupo would be in third because I've seen bits and he's okay. For me, he's not someone that I'm particularly fond of. Shroud is someone that I do watch, so I'd probably have to give it to Shroud. Well, I did watch. I've not watched single stream while there's been a mixer, but I would get behind Shroud. I really like Shroud as a personality, as a content creator. You look at him and first of all, you know he's like Lord of the Memes, the way that he's kind of built himself off of people taking the piss, and Shroud has a fat cock and all that sort of shit like that. So really good at that. But when you first see him, if you go in blind but not deaf, you can hear straight away that he sounds like Seymour Skinner from The Simpsons. It's just like as the doc always says, what, this dentist, he sounds like a dentist. But then you see him play and you understand instantly why they call him the human aimbot, because he's ridiculous, and whatever game it is, he is stupidly good. His reactions, his hand finger coordination, if that's what you call it on PC, no, eye finger, I don't know, whatever. No, nobody clip that eye finger.
So everybody clip that.
So yeah, he definitely brings a lot, but. The only thing, even though I admittedly don't watch a lot of Courage's content, not because I don't think it's good, I just don't think it's aimed at my demographic. Courage and the whole 100 Thieves content creation machine is up there. It's kind of next level. So yeah, I'd be happy if it went either one. My vote would obviously have to go for Shroud because that's where my time is spent. But I'm not averse to watching Courage's content, and I do think Courage, just in the same way that I would always give it to the doc, Courage takes the content to the next level. It's not just look at me play a game and then we'll interact and hang out. There's always not always, but there is a lot more thinking about it to take it forward to the next level.
I like his YouTube stuff more than his streaming stuff. It is between him and Nadeshot that create their own podcast and do their own vlogs and stuff like that. It is great. It hit that for me. This is literally just my opinion. They in the esports kind of gaming world are what like Doc is to Twitch. They're like pushing the envelope. They're making fantastic content, like the Ariana Grande thing, the music video that they ended up creating. Also the way that he ended up announcing that he was leaving Twitch to move over to YouTube, and the little video that went around it. I can't imagine YouTube probably had that much influence on it. I imagine it's just their creative minds that got involved and created an insane video. But yeah, it's got to be Shroud. But again, if it's Courage, then I'll be happy with that too.
Exactly, Vlad. You get me. But yes, moving on, because we've been live quite a while and we're still on our first news article. Jumping into our next news article written by Matt Wales at Eurogamer. Fans think recently released PlayStation advert is teasing a new Crash Bandicoot game. It joins a mounting pile of evidence, says the tagline. So fans of Crash Bandicoot might be in luck. Recently spotted shenanigans in a new PlayStation commercial join a pile of mounting evidence suggesting that a new Crash game is on the way. The advert in question, titled It's Time to Play, features a procession of high-profile video game mascots interacting with non-video game humans, as opposed to video game humans? With one segment in a nod to Crash Team Racing, featuring Crash and pals roaring around a car park. Here's where the mystery lies. It's a bit of a blink and you'll miss it moment, but as its mostly familiar karting procession closes in on the camera, a second mask can be seen hovering just behind Coco. Floating masks aren't, of course, anything new in Crash, but this particular one has not, as far as fans can make out, been featured in a game before. Here's the mask in question, if you didn't spot it, and there we go, on screen for the guys watching on YouTube later on, or Twitch live right now. It's marked in the top corner of the image there. As noted by Games Radar, Nicholas Cole, artist on developer Toys for Bob's recent Spyro remake, has fueled fan speculation still further with a well-placed emoji on Twitter. This isn't the first time that Cole has done the equivalent of a big old Twitter wink on the community regarding a new Crash game either. Earlier this year, the artist retweeted what fans believe to be a new Crash character art spotted in the background of an image, posted to and then quickly removed from Toys for Bob's Twitter page. And then there's a small matter of the bust below. Also from PlayStation's It's Time to Play campaign. That looks like it could be Manchester. Anyway, distracted. That's definitely Crash in the image, but as noted in this Reddit thread, not just any Crash, it's a brand new version of the Crash model, closer to Naughty Dog's original designs that doesn't yet appear to have been used in a game. To cap it all off, the leaker that previously shared accurate word on the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and Crash Team Racing remakes has once again resurfaced, this time claiming the mysterious mask in Sony's PlayStation advert does, in fact, come from a new series installment, one titled Crash Bandicoot Worlds, set for release next year. Admittedly, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise to learn that a new Crash Bandicoot game is in the works. Activision's Crash remakes have done the business by all accounts, and the publisher isn't exactly known for passing on an opportunity to squeeze a beloved franchise for all it's worth when there's money still to be made. Ouch! But if reports of a release next year prove to be accurate, there's not an awful lot of time to get the marketing wheels in motion. Could we see a new Crash unveiled at this year's Video Game Awards on Friday the 13th of December? It won't be long until we find out.
Did you play the latest Crash Bandicoot?
No.
I bought it for Samantha, and she played quite a lot of it. She's a big Crash fan anyway, and it looks great. I mean, they made it from the ground up again, like they did with Resident Evil. They made it literally from scratch and recreated all the levels. I haven't played Crash Team Racing. I'll swerve that one because it wasn't getting the best reports when it came out, with all the rubber banding and stuff like that, which you expect from a racing game because it happens all the time in Mario Kart. But yeah, I mean, they say that it's a license to print money, but it's a license that they didn't use for, I want to say 10 years. It probably wasn't that long, but they didn't release a Crash game for a long time. But it's interesting that they're showing this all on PlayStation, because I'm fairly certain that when they brought out the Insane Trilogy, it was only on the Xbox for a year. I'm sure they had an exclusive for a year before it came to the PlayStation. So it's interesting that now it seems to have switched again, and they're showing it all in PlayStation.
See, I always link Crash with PlayStation, just from obviously PS1 sort of days.
It was their mascot, wasn't it? Which is why it shocked me why Xbox ended up getting exclusive for a year on it. You'd expect PlayStation to be picking it up. But yeah, this is the advert that you play there. I don't think I've seen this. It looks mint.
Yeah, it's the new one. It's just come out, but yeah, that advert is pretty sick. I do love PlayStation are really good at that. So now it's time to play. They've done it previously, obviously, with For the Players, and they've done like the Star Wars. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. They've done like the Star Wars Battlefront 2 adverts where the X-wing kind of like drops down outside some guy's office window, kind of thing. And their immersion into real life sort of stuff is pretty good. PC Master Race, says Smurv in the chat. So
I'm gonna agree with you for the time being, purely because that's what I'm playing most of the games on.
On PC.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, with the Crash stuff, they shouldn't be waiting around to make money off it. Like the article went on to say, they made so much money off Crash Team Racing and also Crash Bandicoot. They'd be stupid to wait around for another couple of years to start recreating that game again. Just bring out a new one. Keep the conveyor belt going.
I've just had a bit of a Google and I couldn't find anything off the first search that showed whether Crash was exclusive to Xbox or not. But I mean, I think new Crash games being in the pipeline, it's kind of nice to see. I mean, obviously, for people that have played the Insane Trilogy will like to see that. It kind of lost on me, but I mean, if it means I get more big sexy PlayStation adverts like that one, then, and I get to look at buses potentially in Manchester, I mean, not definitely, but potentially in Manchester, then yes, ladies and gentlemen. But moving on, just because we need to keep up at a pace, because we've spent so long, you know how much Bibby likes to talk about Death Stranding, so we got stuck on that for a while. Our next news article is focusing on CSGO and the new skins in the game that are already selling for more than £1,000. This is an article about Jordan Eastwood, formerly of the Ice Cream Team, who spent 27th. He's an internal joke, by the way. John may have spent a few pounds on the skins. Anyway, this article is by Alastair Jones for Kotaku UK, saying last night's Counter-Strike Global Offensive update introduced the new Shattered Web operation, bringing in unique character models as well as a host of new weapon skins. Scroll too far. Those cosmetics are already proving pretty lucrative, as community demand has already driven prices up into 4 figures. I mean, I'm all for skins and having community marketplace and stuff like that, but 4 figures for a little bit of an in-game wraparound. What? Anyway, the most expensive weapon is the Gungnir skin for the powerful AWP sniper rifle. Yes, one of those. 9 have sold already, with the most expensive shifting for £1,006.23, or just over $1,300. Another AWP, the Containment Breach, is on the market for £777, although the highest buying price is currently just under £400. When it comes to another popular gun, the AK-47, asking prices are even higher. Currently, the only person selling the Wild Lotus skin is asking for £1,350 for it, although again, the community has shown it's not willing to pay quite that much. The current highest buying price is £717. While these are certainly some expensive cosmetics, when it comes to CSGO, new weapon skins have reached far higher prices. Last year, another AWP skin sold for nearly £50,000. The game's economy has, however, caused Valve some problems in recent months. The company was forced to ban key resales last month after discovering that the in-game items were being used as part of a global money laundering scheme. What?
I was literally just trying to find that article.
Just click on the link. There we go. Valve banned CSGO resales over money laundering concerns. Valve is cracking down on the resale of Counter-Strike Global Offensive keys in an attempt to combat money laundering schemes which have been taking advantage of the items. In an official announcement last night, the developer confirmed that starting today, CSGO container keys purchased in-game can no longer leave the purchasing account. Wow. I mean...
Yeah, because this is something that when me and Connor was doing the scoop, we talked about this. Obviously, because it's right in his domain, this kind of thing. But yeah, I don't understand how they're able to sell this.
Baby looks like he's just had some sort of seizure. Oh, he's back in. Oh no! We've lost Baby.
No, I'm still here.
There we go. Okay, so you don't understand what's that?
Yeah, I don't understand how they're saying that you can't trade these items anymore, but people are still able to buy it for £1,000. Are they like selling the account?
Pass. I'm not 100% sure on that. Unless that's differing things. They may be. Do you know? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Smurf just said, "How can you actually launder it though? It's not even been able to get the money back in real life." I've no idea. I don't know how it works. I've managed to sell one thing on Steam and I got a penny for it. So Christ knows. I don't know. I don't know how you take the money back out again. I don't know whether or not they just keep it in the Steam account and you can just use it to buy more games. I have absolutely no idea. But the fact that skin's going for £1,000 is an absolute piss take.
But like, having never sold anything on the Steam marketplace, so if I sell you an in-game cosmetic, you buy it, give me money for it, that money sits in my Steam account. I can't get that money back out, can I?
Well, that's what Smurfs is saying. You can't.
Yeah.
How are they able to launder it though? They're not even able to get the account back in real life. But what I'm guessing is that they may be able to sell the accounts, and there's someone somewhere must be able to take that money out.
No, I do believe that you'll probably get people going, okay, I've got an account with £1,000 skin on it. I'll sell it you for 500 quid. And some people will be going, okay, if I'm getting a £1,000 skin, no, it stays there, you can't get the money back. Yeah, I thought so. I was just checking that because I've never actually sold anything. I imagine you will get people selling accounts for those purposes. You will get things like, we work in the world of influencers and content creators, you will get things like people going, oh, do you know what, I'm a massive CSGO YouTuber, I want to show off this skin, and if it's going to cost me 500 quid to buy this account to show off this skin, I'm going to make 10 grand off it, so yeah, alright then, that's 500 quid spent to earn £9,500, so yeah, alright, that's fine by me. So you will get people doing that. Then you'll just get people that are just addicts to skins, in terms of, or not necessarily addicts, that's a bit of a almost negative connotation there. You will get people that are collectors of skins that will just be happy to go, yeah, alright, that's fine by me, I'll spend that. I mean, the daft thing there is that they will have all things on one account and then one skin on another account and whatever, but I've seen sites where you can sell your skins via third-party sites. Once a PayPal transaction has been made, the Steam trade will happen, but not seen any reliable, safe ones. I do find it quite baffling, maybe because I'm an old man, more in line with what Dad and Lad Gaming says. This is bullshit! Who's paying for that skin? For those skins, they are lucky to get £3 out of me. Or he said, who's paying that for skins? No, saying I will spend a few quid here and there, but usually on things that I've got my value out of, in terms of, if I've quite often I'm happy enough to put money into games, because more often than not, working in the games industry, being in a lucky position, I don't have to pay for that many games. So if I get a game for free, I'm not averse to putting money into it, because I've not paid for it. So it's only fair. I'm getting something free, I might as well put back into it. So yeah, from that perspective, I don't mind putting money into a game. But then if I'm playing a game for many, many hours as well, I'm thinking, I always use, I think I've mentioned it on the Scoop a few times as well, I always use the cinema as a reference point. That's paying for entertainment. I go and spend 20 quid for 2 hours of entertainment. Whereas on a game, I can play it for 60 hours and then go, I'm not putting 3 quid in this, but I've got 60 hours worth of entertainment out of it. If just putting 3 quid makes that even a little bit better, that 3 quid is well spent. So yeah, 3 quid, 5 quid. I probably start getting my Yorkshire twinge in my heart at around 10 quid maybe, but £1,000, god damn it, man. I better ask T Martin and Syndicate, they might know. Kappa.
Big yikes.
God damn it. God damn. So yeah, anyway, I'm just going to go and pre-order my Containment Breach and Wild Lotus skins. So yeah, $12,000 later. That's not for me, Jeff. It's not for me. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, we talk about money laundering. One thing that we have had to do in the past, working in esports, quite often people will forget a very easy thing. And I mean, I'm talking about this. Bibbs will be able to tell you a lot more about this. Whenever you do an international esports event, it's one that requires any sort of online activation. Let's stick with PlayStation, for example. You have to buy PS Plus for that PlayStation. If you have 16 competitors, 32 competitors, 64 competitors, however many, they will all need a PlayStation, a PSN account with PS Plus buy-in. Do you know how hard it is to buy that many codes for PS Plus or for PSN? It's ridiculously complex, because
it's a joke. It is an actual joke. There is a massive gap in the market for a company like PlayStation can do it. They could sell wholesale these to people who put on esports competitions without dropping myself in it. Do you know how many sites I had to go on to try and get 60 codes to run these PES tournaments? I mean, it's an absolute. It is a joke.
But I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense when we start talking about money laundering, because if people are using in-game skins to launder money, then buying PS Plus vouchers for 40 quid, because that's essentially what we're doing. They're around 40 quid, 30 quid, whatever they are, for a 12-month, 6-month, however long PS Plus account. You go on, you can buy that. People can use those for money laundering processes, in terms of, I've sold this PS Plus for 20 quid, it cost me 30 quid. It costs you 30 quid in dirty money that you can't use in the system, but if you get 20 quid through that natural sale, then yeah. Anyway, tune in for more Money Laundering 101 on icecreamuploads.co.uk, whatever. Twitch.tv/icecreamuploads, that's the one I want. But yeah, let's
yeah, there is a massive for someone to be able to wholesale these, like someone official, obviously, they're not just some bloggers, and it can be the place count be as different staff to be able to get them to host your competition. Without them, there's a lot of instances where you can't not have PlayStation or Xbox Live on your systems to be able to play in certain tournaments. So it's stupid that they make you jump through hoops to be able to do it. But I obviously understand it at the same time.
We got there eventually. We lost you again, and it did kind of like start to drop out and stuff. And I may have pulled a daft face, but we got there in the end. We figured out what you were saying. What a pose, says Pirate. I'm assuming he's talking about my face when you were going through the news. Let's move on. Borderlands 3 gets an expanded bank, and future updates have been detailed. This is from Richard Wakeling at GameSpot. I've just seen you pick up your phone, so do you want to read through this one, babe?
Yes. That's fine. Well, the only reason I'm not reading them is because if my mic isn't cutting out, then you can't hear me, can they?
Okay.
Every time you start talking, I can't hear you for like a good 3 minutes. I just hope there's a long enough gap for you that you want me to try and drop in. But yeah, I'll read it. It's not a problem.
Tell you what, just to be sure, I'll go through it just because we must have like a duff connection today, but I'll run through it and then yeah, there we go. We just lost you a bit then, so I'll do it. Okay, Gearbox has been rolling out regular updates for huge loot shooter Borderlands 3, and there's plenty more on the way. In late October, the studio outlined its roadmap for the coming weeks in terms of what we can expect from future hotfixes and patches for the co-op game. Those include some welcome improvements and changes for the bank, character balance, and mayhem mode. Gearbox says performance and stability continues to be its top priority. An upcoming November patch promises to introduce various improvements games-wide, with the studio saying performance and stability will continue to be an ongoing effort, with more fixes rolled out with each upcoming patch. Scrolling down, one of the most requested features by the community is an expansion to Borderlands 3's bank. As a result, Gearbox has begun laying the groundwork for expanding the bank. The upcoming release of Takedown at Maliwan's Black Site will introduce a significant expansion to the bank. Do you think we could say bank a bit more? That will more than double the existing space for storing your items in the bank. Bosses. It didn't say that then. I added that. Sorry guys. I'm just going a bit rogue here, but I'll turn it back. Bosses will be getting dedicated loot pools to ensure that more specific gear drops from defeated bosses. Once this happens, as an expected part of the November update, you'll be able to go to a specific boss and get the specific gear you're looking for, saving a lot of specific time and specific hassle specifically. Sorry, I'm just losing my mind.
Rogue, ladies and gentlemen.
There's just so many words repeated. We've had bank, and then get into specific. So let me read that paragraph again. Bosses will also be getting dedicated loot pools to ensure that more specific gear drops from defeated bosses. Once this happens, as an expected part of November, you'll be able to go to a specific boss and get the specific gear you're looking for, saving a lot of time and hassle. Specific bank, says Precision in the chat. Gearbox says it will be introducing some character buffs as well, since Moses, Iron Bear, I'm guessing that's Flax Pets, and Zane's Digiclone SNTL aren't performing as well as expected when Mayhem mode is activated in the late stages of the game. The developer is looking at ways to adjust damage according to the relevant skills and gear to make sure Borderlands 3 has many viable character builds as possible. I'm going to stop there because we've almost gone through. Oh, no, let's see, we've got a little bit more. Speaking of Mayhem mode, Gearbox is also planning a significant revamp that will introduce a host of improvements to the way it works. The first update will once again be released as part of Takedown at Maliwan's Black Site and will introduce the first new Mayhem mode level, Mayhem 4. The new level promises to offer a significant challenge with tougher enemies and better rewards that revolve around new legendary gear. Beyond this, Gearbox will eventually overhaul Mayhem mode with Mayhem 2.0, adding more UI support, playlists, additional levels, new rewards, and new Mayhem modifiers that will dramatically change the gameplay. Do you know what I'm saying? All these words, and I am not understanding anything that I am saying here. Lastly, there will be new vending machines cropping up throughout Borderlands 3's planet hopping adventure. Gearbox is also hard at work trying to find a solution that will let you skip cutscenes, and it's introducing a target dummy so you can easily test your gear on Sanctuary. I'm not going to read the last couple of paragraphs. Did that make sense to you, Bibi?
Yes.
Specifically the bit about the bank.
Yes. It's something that I've seen being echoed around. Guns not performing. I think we've said this on the scoop before. We've gone through all the extra fixes that they've ended up going through to either increase the weapon performance, shield performance, things like that. Some of the things that are not hindering your progress, but slowing down essentially you grinding through the level ups. So I got the driest mouth in the world at the moment. I had a cup of tea this morning, and it's just been downhill from there. My mouth keeps on sticking. So I apologise if you hear. It's just me trying to lube up my gob.
So you've got specific banks and. Welcome to the Scoop, ladies and gentlemen. World-class entertainment, 5 days a week. Specifically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I like the fact that they're still working on the game, because sometimes you'll get games that just come out and then that's it. They're just going to leave it to rot kind of thing. They're not doing anything with it. But Borderlands 3 is a game that this is still going to be have a stupidly strong player base within the next 12 to 18 months and beyond, because they definitely will be dropping some more DLC for this. Borderlands 2 was still highly popular even after how many years was it out for? I'm just going to throw a number out there. I'm sure it's I think it's 5 years between Borderlands 5 and Borderlands 3. Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3 coming out. So, I love the fact that they're still working on it. They are going to be working on this game for a long time. It looks great. I played a tiny bit of this game. But yeah,
7 years.
I love the Borderlands. I just haven't got the time to be able to put into it at the moment, along with a million other games.
It was 7 years.
7 years.
Bloody hell, babe. God. 7 years. I mean, you throwing numbers out. Throw out the right ones.
Absolutely. But yeah, again, they're making the changes based on fan feedback, and that's as a developer, as the person, people who are producing the game, publishing the game, it's only good news for them, because they know that the community is the one thing that keeps this game going.
So how has Borderlands 3 been received in general? Obviously, they're making a lot of fixes in the community feedback and they're working on that, which is good. But is that in response? I mean, having never played a Borderlands game, is that in response to the community feedback being positive and going, yeah, we want this game to get even better?
I don't think people hate the game. The people who've been playing it have absolutely enjoyed it. But if they want to try and make the experience even better, which is perfect, really, because you've got a lot of people saying this game is amazing, but can you just try and have a look at these little small pockets where we think it could be improved, because like they're saying that they're trying to use the mayhem or the rage or whatever it is that you want to call it, where you put down your ultimate, and then if that's not doing the damage that it should be doing compared to maybe Borderlands 2, Borderlands 1, you expect your ultimate to be able to do a superior amount of damage, to either give you a shield or to give you an opportunity to try and take down a boss. If it's not, if your guns are doing a lot more damage than your ultimate, then you're in a shit position. They need to be doing 6, 7, 8 times the damage that you should be doing with your guns, your ultimate. So yeah, if they're looking at things like that, then that's perfect, because they're just putting the finishing touches on things that was already decent, but just make it a little bit better. And as someone who's playing the game, there's nothing better than that when people say, all right, okay, 2K, you're like, oh, okay, we'll do that for you, that's not a problem, we'll take a look at it, and we'll just tweak it for you, just try and enhance your experience. It's perfect.
Well, I was the reason I was asking that specifically is I know there's been a lot of negativity around Gearbox recently in terms of the way that they've treated artists within the game and things like that. I just didn't know what the overall consensus was on Borderlands, but if the team at Gearbox are working on it, I told you I'd be back to Zembo Christian. I hope you're prepping for that fight. I mean, I want to see some training. I mean, drop and give me 10. But yeah, welcome back. Yeah, I mean, having never played Borderlands, I didn't know. But it's good to see that the game is getting more patches, more work on it, and obviously the community, if they're enjoying it and it's getting better, then there's only good things within that.
But they know that this game's going to be out for a long time. They know it's going to keep on going. If there was 7 years between this and that one, and people are still heavily playing Borderlands 2, then you're goddamn right that this is going to be getting played. I mean, they did bring out the pre-sequel after Borderlands 2, which I don't think was that. Quick look at that one now. Borderlands 2. Sorry.
Did they do Tales for the Borderland as well?
Yes, but that was obviously done by. That was. Oh, Jesus Christ. 2 of the light bulbs have just flashed at my face. Yes, but the pre-sequel was 5 years ago, October 14th, 2014.
Okay.
That came after Borderlands 2.
And then Tales. Is that
Tales from the Borderlands was after that?
25th of November 2014. Tales from the Borderlands. Yeah. Oh well, I don't really have anything else to add on Borderlands. Do you?
I don't at this moment in time. We just know that they're trying to tweak it. They're sorting it out for the players who may be having potential problems or want to their ultimates and whatever else do the damage and support that they needed to. Perfect.
Nice. And so for one game that I don't know anything about being updated and improved, to one that I heavily do. Somebody get that ding 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 ding.
Yeah. Get the bell ready, boys.
Yeah, there we go. PUBG is finally ditching random loot boxes. Paid loot boxes will no longer be handed out at random, says Austen Goslin at Polygon. And before I jump into that fully, about fucking time. Fuck's sake, guys. Okay, jumping in, like a little bit of feedback. A little bit of reading around. Basically, you play PUBG, you do decent, you get a shitload of BP. You don't do very well, you get a little bit of BP. If you crap at the game, you get little bits of BP often. Eventually, you'll build up your BP to a point where you can open a loot box. And within these loot boxes, like you can only do a random one. Give me a loot box, and it'll go, oh, here's a loot box, and you've grinded all that time, and it's giving you a loot box that could then be, oh, do you know what? You can open this for a chance to get one of these 5 items, 10 items, whatever it is. You might get a pair of boots that you've had before. Within those loot boxes, you'll have a number of items that are layered. So some things will be stupidly easy and have a high percentage of getting, like shit shoes or whatever. But then they might be a really cool leather jacket or something that's stupidly hard to get, like 0.01%. So not only do you have a stupidly difficult chance of getting this jacket from that crate, there will then be like 7 crates or whatever to choose from. 4 of them will be crates that you can open, but then the other 3, for example, I don't know if those are the exact numbers, those other 3 crates will be hidden behind a paywall. So imagine this, you've just played PUBG for a few days or a few hours, got yourself enough BP to open a crate, you do the random crate drop, and then it then throws a crate at you and goes, you need a key to open that crate. And you're like, oh, all right then, nice. And then it goes, the keys are £2.50. And you're like, the fuck? So I've played this game for hours for a chance to spend money on the game, for a chance to get something shit, and a really, really small chance of getting something good. Bollocks. I mean, there are some free crates, but I always get the fucking paid ones. Anyway, jump back into the article, because this is talking about doing away with that paid element. So the loot boxes in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds have long been a source of frustration for players. With the current system, some of the loot boxes earned by players are completely free, while others require real-world money to open. Which box they ended up with was completely random. It's almost like someone said this already. PUBG Corp has heard these complaints and is releasing its new loot system soon. Right now, the game's loot boxes are placed in a random pool. Players can use BP, the game's free-to-play currency, to purchase crates from this random pool. Players can either get a free box when they buy a crate, or a locked loot box that requires them to spend real money on a key to open it. But after PUBG Corp's changes, the locked loot boxes will be removed from the random pool. Bad fucking time. To keep the paid loot boxes appealing for players, they will have a higher likelihood to drop mid-tier rarity items than they have in the past, and top-tier skins will be slightly less rare than they used to be. Assault rifle skins will also be more common instead of being the most rare skin in each box. PUBG Corp is also improving the visual quality of the skins in paid loot boxes. The first of these changes to PUBG's loot box system will start on November 20th with the release of the Venetian crate, so that's today, which will be directly purchasable with BP. On November 27th, the Venetian crate will join the regular pool of random loot boxes that can be purchased with BP, and the probability of getting a locked loot box will be greatly reduced. Finally, on December 18th, PUBG Corp will remove locked loot boxes entirely from the random pool. About time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I at the moment have a love-hate relationship with PUBG. I still really like the game. I played it last night. I still love playing PUBG. When it works, it's amazing. But stuff like that, it just shows that that phone's buzzing away behind me. It still shows that the game had a lot of legacy shit that it needed to get rid of. The idea that they had loot boxes for cosmetics was introduced fairly early on, and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. But then putting like tiers of rarity and tiers of chances of receiving items became. I mean, it makes common sense. I wouldn't like it that way. I wouldn't want to open a crate knowing that I've got an 80% chance of getting something shit, a 5% chance of getting something a bit better, a 2% chance of getting something decent, like a 1% chance of getting something really good, and a 0.1% chance of getting something amazing. 0.1% is fucking ridiculous. Open 1,000 crates, roughly, or whatever it is, to get a chance of getting this item. But then, not only do you have to open 1,000 of these loot boxes, the chances of getting that loot box, you've got a 1 in 7 chance. So times that by 1 in 7, you've got, obviously, it's a 1 in 7,000 chance of getting that one item that you want, which is ridiculous. So yeah, the fact that they finally fixed that, I don't blame them for having the loot boxes in, because they have been in there forever. But yeah, finally they are wising up to the fact that whole system needs tweaking, because loot boxes are a crack of shit, especially if you have to hide items behind a paywall, and that paywall comes after an in-game time wall, so you can spend your time and effort to unlock something that you then have to pay to unlock something to still only have a small chance of getting something decent. Bullshit. It's bullshit, mate.
See, I've got a load of those buyable key crates, because they do the same thing in CS:GO as well. You can earn the drops, but you need the keys to open them. So yeah, I've got a load of them. So eventually, hopefully, they'll backdate them. So the ones that I've got, if I was to log in, I'll just be able to open them with BP, because I've got quite a lot of that as well.
I don't think that it's going to work that way. From the way it sounds like the ones that you have to open with a key, they'll make it so that your chance of getting something good out of it are going to be better. So rather than having like 80%, 5, 2, 1, or whatever the percentages are, it's probably going to be 30% for something shit, 20% for something, 10%. So you'll have more chances of getting the better stuff, but you will still have to pay for it. And they're going to upgrade the textures of those skins so they look better and stuff in game. So you get more value for money from the paid boxes. But I'm assuming from it, you will still have those paid boxes. You just won't get any more from when it was December the 18th, when it finally removes them all. You'll just get your free to play cosmetic skins. If you pay for the boxes, you will get better quality stuff, but you then have to pay for them. You're not at the moment. Like I had some Steam currency, and I thought, you know what, I'll buy a key, see what I get. So kind of like threw my money out on 1 or 2 keys or whatever, and just got fuck all. I was like, well, what is the point in that? I've literally wasted my time, effort, and money on that. It was only like, I don't know, £1 or whatever. Just testing the waters a year or so ago when we were badly playing PUBG, babe. But yeah, I mean, it just instantly put me off. I would never have put the money into it. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not the kind of person that actively spends money on skins anyway. I'd rather earn them in game. But yeah, putting that time and effort and then money into something and still getting some shit out of it is crap. If they're going to give you better skins for weapons that you're actually going to use and things like that, fair enough. It's starting to get somewhere, but. Yeah, PUBG making changes too late. The game's fading away. I don't think I've ever had anything good from a loot box, says Smurv. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that they're making changes too late. I think stuff like that was quite small fry compared to like trying to fix things like desync, trying to work on things like for the console market, trying to get that cross-play stuff. So they have been working on a lot of stuff. The game definitely is fading away, but I think that's just kind of a time thing. They've had a long time to try and make it perfect. And there's a lot of stuff that does need fixing. They keep like unearthing the same sort of bugs. So you'll play the game and a guy will just appear out of nowhere with no audio, or you'll get shot when you're behind cover. And those sort of game-breaking things are what they've been kind of focused on. Not that stuff's easy to fix in a game that's already out and in motion, but I think that's where they've been focusing on. So things like these have been bottom of the pile, as they should be, but it's nice to see them starting to tick that sort of stuff off as well. I just think... maybe I need to spend a bit more time in PC as opposed to console, so I can understand if it's worthy of even putting the time in the loot box and stuff. Because from what I'm seeing on the console side of things, there's fucking, if you touch the loot boxes, then I want to slap you in the face, because the fucking the crossplay shit is shit. But yeah, do you know what, babe? Over Christmas, me and you, 27,000 hours of PUBG sold.
Yes, all the PUBG.
Maybe a couple of hours of Volta, maybe a few hours of Pro Clubs, and a party.
Yeah, I definitely will play some PUBG over Christmas, because we're both off for quite a substantial amount of time. So there will be opportunities where Mrs. Bibby has left me in the house, and I don't have to clean up, and I can just play games. I'm looking forward to that.
Bib's house is on fire. Oh my God, he's been left alone in the house. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's scoop. We've covered all of the news that we thought fit to talk about. Obviously, if you want to go through all the bits of news that we've spoken about, we will have links for you within our stream, our our notes on our
Yeah, our show notes.
show notes. There we go. I always forget. Literally, it's not even the first time I forgot show notes. So yeah, you can check through the links in all of our show notes. There we go. Awkward. The video for this will be going live on YouTube a little bit later on, and we will then follow that up with 4 podcast services as well. You will find all of the links to those on our Twitter. We'll post them live a little bit later on today when we're sure that everything is live. So check out twitter.com/Ice Cream Uploads. If you're not sure, at Ice Cream Uploads across all social media. We will be there. Thank you very much for dropping the social links in the chat, Pirate. Much appreciated. He's also dropped in the link to our merch stuff. If you ever want to see that, just go to the chat, type in !merch on Twitch, and you will see. Not only do we have cool hats, cool hoodies, we also have a very, very sexy esports jersey that Bibby was modelling for us yesterday on the channel.
Yes, sir.
But yes, Bibby is going to bugger off and play Guitar Hero. Maybe not on stream because the studio hasn't been set up for it. But, you know, maybe he is. If he is, then the only way you can be reminded of that is to hit the follow button now if you haven't already. Doing that will give you a notification when we next go live. If it's a little bit later on today, then, you know, you'll get the notification. If it's not until tomorrow for the next episode of The Scoop, either way, you will get that notification, so make sure you do it. Pirate says he doesn't have the hat. You don't have the hat? Do you know, I actually don't have the hat. I keep wearing this. Maybe. Do you know what? I'm going to hit that ! Merch in the chat. I'm going to click on that gamersapparel.co.uk store link for Ice Cream Uploads, and I'm going to investigate buying myself a new hat. I might do it. But anything else that you'd like to add, Booberino?
Yes, as always, if you do see anything that on social media, any articles that you come across that you think that you want to hear our opinion on, or you think might make the show a little bit more bearable to listen to, then feel free to at myself, as we've got Vino on Twitter, at Ice Cream Uploads, or you can at Graham_Day. We will be able to grab that news for you, and we can talk about it on the very next show. Dan and Lad Gaming, it does seem to do that quite a lot for us. That's how we tend to get our news from you lot and all the news outlets across the world. But yeah, if you do see anything, feel free to tag us. We will definitely be talking about it.
Which reminds me, Dad and Lad Gaming did tag something in yesterday.
It was something that we covered yesterday, though.
Ah, okay, there we go. Never mind. But one thing I am going to do, though, which we don't often do live, just purely because it kind of makes it harder to sign off for those on the podcast, is we are going to jump in and raid Precision TV, who's playing eFootball PES 2020. I'm going to do that because he's been in the chat and I saw him go live whilst we were on here. Always here to help, says Dan Lad Gaming. Oh, well, always here to have your help, helping us in a helpful way. All the help. So yes, I'm going to hit raid on that. I've never actually done this in the new back-end dashboard either, so I'm hitting raid there now. You guys will hopefully get a little bit of a notification. Not only can you go along and say hello to Precision with us, but then you can also get some stream points for doing so too. So yes, I'll hit that button in just a second. As Bibby has said, at Ice Cream Uploads across all social media, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, have yourselves a lovely day and stay frosty.